Welcome to Coach SG and Friends, where we discuss topics that help you have a better relationship with yourself and others. I am Coach SG, otherwise known as your joyful friend. I'm a relationship coach and life mentor, an entrepreneur and speaker. I'm based out of Los Angeles, but originally from Brooklyn, New York. I love great music, deep conversations, and inspiring people to live their best emotional lives and create their most amazing love story. Let me introduce you to my two friends, Janessa Rose and Lisa Miranda. Janessa is the CEO of Motivational Monsters, a nonprofit that helps people activate mental health and emotional well-being through creative arts. She is the author of How to Stop Being an Effing Bum. BUM stands for Broken Urban Mentality. She's been dubbed the Tony Robbins / Cardi B of motivational speakers, and she calls herself the Galactic Goddess. Lisa Miranda is an actor and creative director. She's also dabbling in producing. She is based in Miami, New York, and Paris. She is a world traveler who speaks several languages, who loves life, good people, and good conversation. So we want to welcome you to our podcast. Let's get started.
We always fall in love with each other. It's like what I was saying earlier, like he likes me because I like me. It's like once you get into the pattern of routine, you guys are really falling into each other's patterns or what you think each other want. And then it becomes this monotonous type of feel. But if you're like, you know what? It's been a year. I'm gonna cut my hair and dye it red, and then I'm gonna buy these tall 6-inch heels. And these are just examples. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna walk in like a whole new chick. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel away. This is what I'm having fun with. For Lisa, like I want to travel. I love to see myself in different environments and so on and so forth. Or whatever it is. When we reset ourselves and what our level of higher self is needing.
I think it's really empowering to encourage and listen to each other's hopes and dreams, because it's easy to live with someone or have a relationship but not really know what they really want. Like, what do they want out of life? And I think if you listen and if you encourage, you get to see someone really kind of open up and blossom. So I think for me, that's been very, very important. Even like I've been encouraging my boyfriend, and last year he started like a new business that he was really excited about. And when he first gave me the idea, it was like really small and he was worried, and I just kept, no, this is great, like just being there with him. And I've watched him, just that one little project, I've watched him transform. And I still, like, I tell him all the time, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you. I think I tell him that as much as I say I love you, maybe more. And I think doing things like that. Then also when it comes to fighting, when you ask someone, hey, to be gentle with you, hey, you need to not, it's easier because you guys speak in loving language often. And it's not something that's once in a while or shocking, or like, oh, culturally, we don't say I love you or this and that. It's taking more ownership in that way of your love, making it love.
I love it. So what do we get to right now? So we don't reset our relationship. So I want to ask you guys, have you ever done a reset on your relationships?
Yeah. I enjoy getting dressed up. That's my thing. Like if it's boring and we're chilling and it's just all like, being like closed in the house and just like boring, I turn up. I'll walk in the house like a belly dancer. I'll come out the closet looking like a whole. I'll get in a whole costume. I'll dress like Sailor Moon. It's gonna pop.
I love Sailor Moon.
Ew, she's hot. It's hot. But you know what I'm saying? Like I like to dress up. I like to get in costume. So recent they're going out to dinner all the time, right? It's fun. You go out, you get dressed up, whatever. It's nice to be treated or treat someone, whatever. And then the COVID thing happened, or sometimes you're just tired of going out to dinner. So what I would do is I would transform the house into a restaurant, and I'll cook my ass off, and I'll make like a whole restaurant dinner, whatever. So I've reset things on many occasions. But yeah, I'm quick to turn things up. And like if you don't want to, like I'll be like, all right, fine, I'm doing it, and I'll enjoy it fully. Like even my outfit, like I'll be all like into myself and to the point where they like, I can't miss out on this. This looks like a fun experience.
I think that's wonderful. And I think after your probationary period, there should be like, we're going to sit down and I'm going to review.
Yes, we
But
should.
you got to review each other. So it's not just about like reviewing them, but you've got to, get some feedback as well. And I think those are the things that we don't do. We don't like, whether it's that 90-day time or if it's, after a year, we just go like, let's go back and reflect and say like what we could have done differently. And now let's reset and refocus, because it's just like with our dreams and goals, we do the same thing every year. We refocus, right? It's like, I want to do this thing. I want to travel these places. But if you don't have a vision and you don't have a destination, you're just going to be flying from the seat of your pants. So
I got a question, right? What happens? I don't even know how to say this. What happens when they're desiring something you're not in alignment with and you're not willing to do? And it's like, but damn, you interested in that? Shit, what's going to happen? Like, how do you process that? Like
I think Lisa had an answer.
I think you don't want to do anything you're not comfortable with. You want to lead. You want to figure out what you like and meet where you want to be. But I think you learn, even if you decide to do something, you're like, after, wow, that really wasn't for me. You have, as long as you don't feel unsafe or you don't feel bad about doing it, you learn something from it. But if you do feel like, no, then you can, okay, I got another idea. We'll try this out, blah, blah, blah. And you feel in control. Even if you're on the passenger side, know where you're going. But but without having to, what my friend said, no, you shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. Because I think that kind of makes people fearful and close up about even more things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love that answer. That was so on point because that's pretty much what I did. Like, I know the request is not for me. Like, there's no, it's not for me. That kind of shit is not for me. But I didn't shame them. I was completely like shocked, like, whoa. Okay. But I was just like, yeah, no, that's not for me. And I explained to them why it wasn't for me. But there was a compromise in there somewhere that I was like, but maybe.
Well, I was going to say it's about collaboration and compromise, right? So, I think it's not about like, this is what I can't do, but it's about, but this is what I can, right? So it's like, I want to take it up a notch. Well, that's when you lean in and go like, well, what kind of notch are we talking about? Like, an up a notch to me might be different than your up a notch. So it's really important to find clarity at this point. And then you may find out it's not something that is as tricky as we think it is. Or if it is, then you can say that like, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm comfortable with this. Because I think when you know that people have your best interests at heart, you feel like it's a safe space. You really feel inspired to do things to please them that you probably wouldn't normally do, like jump out of a plane or, whatever it is, because that's not something naturally for you that you'd want to do, but you may be willing to do it here and there just because, as we link up, right? Some person might be vegan and the other person might like meat. So now you got to cook together, and you might have to, you got to find some kind of way that you collaborate and compromise. You can't be like, well, I'm vegan and there's no meat in this house, because that's not realistic, right? But right. You've got to, know if you're aligned in some areas. That's that pre-work. But somebody might, in between the relationship, become vegan. Like, what do you do, at that point? So.
Yeah, no, it's so true, man. And these are the real topics. Like, we calling it meat and fish, but y'all know what it is. It's like episode 1 when we were like, you got to show up like the yacht, we calling it the yacht. Y'all know what it is. No, but true. Because it's right. That's your stuff, especially when you like someone and you're like, yo, everything is going good. And all of a sudden they pull out a rabbit out the hat. Like, I like bunny.
Well, you know what? Here's the other thing I think that's happening, especially as we do more work on ourselves, as we get older and we grow and we align ourselves with other things. Like, there are things that you didn't know you liked. You may get exposed to some things you want to do. And this idea that we are always supposed to be the same and that we are not open to people changing, and sometimes change is like, you just can't be with it. And that's okay. But, it doesn't have to be a failure. You can't be like, well, why do you want this thing? Because it's going to cause us to break up. Like, some people have desires that it's just within them and there's nothing we can, you could do about it. So, but we, it's like I feel like relationships are like a dance, right? So you got two people, they both know how to dance, right? But not everybody can dance together as a couple. Right. And not everybody likes the same music. Not everybody's dancing to, I might dance to the drums and they're dancing to the guitar strings. I don't know. But it's really about like you independently, you've got to train yourself. See, I didn't use a car analogy this time. What's that?
I was waiting for it.
But independently, you've got to get your skills better so that you can dance better as a couple. But, you've got to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to align yourself so that you're not like, okay, go back, go forward. You already know what that flow is. And then the music changes up and you've got to be able to dance with the new music. So what's the last thing? So the last thing was, I think we struggle because we don't appreciate each other. You guys know I listen to Abraham Hicks all the time, and she talks about looking at the positive aspects of people. And the more that we wake up, I try to do that every day. I look at the positive aspects of my partner every day, and I appreciate them. I share them because, I'm going to do things that piss her off. She's going to do things that piss me off. But if I'm in the positive aspects of things all the time, that's what's going to maximize. And that's what I'm going to see most of the time, not the things that I don't love. And I think we don't do that. I say please and thank you. Like yesterday, I got 3 meals cooked for me, right? And I was appreciative of every single one. And they weren't only just cooked for me, but they were they were laid out with the music and the flowers and all that stuff. And the more I appreciate that stuff, the more she's going to be inspired to do more of that stuff for me. And I've got to be able to reciprocate. But, if I'm in the, wow, she's always on her phone, whatever it is, then that gets more of my attention. So what do you guys say about, spending more time appreciating each other?
So for me, one of the main things that I've learned, y'all know I'm a spiritual thingy. So I realized within myself the divine in me. That was first. And when I started to realize that divine, because of the universal law of oneness, because of that somebody else has divinity in them as well. And once I focus on that, it's appreciating that there's a divine aspect in both of us. So now I'm recognizing the creator in me and the creator in them. They might create differently, but to appreciate it because it's their form of it, creative expression. Whether that's them creating a mood, a meal, a trip for us, or whatever it is. So that's how I appreciate it. That's what makes me remember that I get that in return. It just works like that. So that's how I've learned to appreciate things in others. And the more I do that and I see them being their best selves, even when they don't see it, and try to understand that that's what's happening in them, like they're just creating through the divine aspect of what they know and where they are, then it just like you said, it expands in them and they continue to show up more and more and more like that. Also, like Lisa said, telling your partner like how proud you are of them, or like even the small things that they might not even notice it. You focus on it, that's what expands. Whatever our consciousness is focused on by universal law, that's what's going to expand. And so that's really, gratitude is a major tool in manifesting what you desire. Unless you desire problems subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to focus on the problems too much. But there's people who are stuck in that pattern.
Some people feel like it's anticlimactic if there's not a fight. Because I was feeling like that with life, not with relationships. I was like, wow, now that things are like nice. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're on one plane instead of up and down. what does this mean? And I'm just like, no, actually, this is amazing. This is fantastic. Now, the things that can go up and down are the new ideas that I dream and bring them up. You know what I'm saying? Not life today is great and tomorrow I want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like you change, yeah, but you change that dynamic, and then it's easier to request and receive the same thing. So I think for me, and I'm not shy about anything to do with love. So me, I give out like compliments all the time. I write notes. I bring up things that make him laugh. He thinks I'm ticklish. I'm not ticklish. I've never been ticklish in my life.
He's gonna know now.
He doesn't speak English.
Like
just,
My face, I was like,
well, that's what I think. You know, I agree with you, Lisa. I think, you know, are we building a love story, or are we just in a routine? And that's the thing. Like, if we want to be more loving, we got to be practicing being more loving, and you know, and appreciation is part of that. Being able to say, you know what, you're a great father, and thank you for dropping the kids off, or thank you for making my meal, or you know, thank you so much for fixing the bed. Like, those little things, if we appreciate them all the time, now when there's a fight, it doesn't feel like, well, you always, you know, got something whatever to say. No, I'm practicing always saying really great things to you, and now we're in a fight, and it's just this isolated incident.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to cost you any money. Sending a nice photo, revisiting something you guys have done, writing a little note, sending a little voice memo, anything that promotes someone feeling safe and happy and valued comes right back to you. Then they learn how to do it, even if they didn't know before. Like, I feel like in my relationship, we didn't have, you know, he was more closed, he was more shy. He is like he's great now, you know, and I think. And, you know, I think I could take all the responsibility. I'm kidding. But what I've been really lucky about is that the work that I'm doing with me, I see it then reflected in him too. And I think that's what it's about. Like, relationships, you want to make yourself the best version of you and encourage the other person to do the same. And that's how you know you're in the right relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, when we done with this, I'm gonna send another text because I was already thankful this morning. But
well, that's what, you know, it depends on what your vision is, right? So what's your vision for your relationship? Is it to just be in a relationship, or is it to have the most amazing love story? And so if the vision is to just be in a relationship that's good, that's what you're going to get. But if you want to have the most amazing love story, then you get creative, right? And Janessa, I think you were saying earlier, like, it's hard when you're in stress and anxiety to get in creativity. So if you're fighting all the time and you're stressed about money and you're, you know, it's going to be hard to be creative, to put those heels on and the outfit and all that stuff. It's just going to be tired. You're tired of working all day and people pissing you off. And, you know, I heard Esther Perel say, and I love it. She goes, you know, we give the world the best of us, and we give our relationships what's left of us, you know, so we're out here chasing our dreams and doing whatever. And then we get back to home and we just give it, I'm tired and I just want to cook and watch TV. And it's like, no, we're creating this beautiful love story, and it's not in this TV show, you know, it's in a connection. And, you know, so we've got to be focused on our connection.
Yeah, I love that. I was, you know, while you're saying the word relationship, I'm thinking to myself, like, that's what people get afraid of. Like, when they hear that word, they're like, relationship. It's like a partnership. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what kind of partnership do you want? And that's one thing that, like, most recently I've been creating in my love stories. It's like, this is a partnership. I desire a partnership. Everything's a relationship. Any two or more people engaging with one another is some sort of a relationship. So when you say, like, creating your best love story, I enjoy that because now I get to tap into my higher faculties, and it's imagination time. And I'm like, nothing is more important than my happiness. And I love love. So, you know what I mean? I love to love. I love to be loved. What's what are the most exciting adventures you can go on with a lover and the partnership. And even when things are getting hard, it's like, how do we stay in a loving space when things are hard? Because you don't want to feel alone. You know what I mean? So
I love it because now you guys gave me some like I feel inspired now. I can't wait to create our next thing that we're gonna do to surprise her because she loves stuff like that. So
that's so
I
cute.
love that.
I love that. I see it.
I'll tell you how it goes.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh man, that's so excited. I'm actually gonna be doing something too, and I'm not in charge of it. So I don't know what it's gonna be, but I have to go to Miami, and then when I get back, it's gonna be another adventure. So I'm excited.
Nice. So anything you guys want to add and why we struggle too much? I'll just read what we said. So we struggle because we, not clear about what we want. We focus on what we don't want. We don't do that inner work so that we're bringing our most authentic self to the relationship, and we're ensuring that, we are emotionally stable and emotionally independent. So, we are repeating old patterns, and we got to really just let go of the idea that relationships have to look like this and really listen to what we need, and being able to communicate that. One of the things we said, we don't problem solve. So we've got to figure out, how we problem solve, because, just like any other, relationships are different. I problem solve different with my mother than I do with, my cousin or whatever. So we can't assume that everybody's going to problem solve, the same way, but we do have to have some rules and some strategy around, love and respect. We got to be mindful if we're staying too long or we're leaving too quickly. We want to make sure we're not like just flying out because of fear, and we're not staying to figure out what it is that, is it really that it's not a good fit, or is it really that we got to do some more inner work, or we've got to learn how to communicate a little bit better, or are we staying in a relationship so long that we just believe that I made this commitment, I'm just supposed to stay because that's what's supposed to be. And then what was the other one? Getting stuck in a routine. So, not making sure that we're changing stuff up a little bit. That same, it gets boring, it gets monotonous. And, that feeling of in the beginning when it's like, oh, it feels so beautiful and whatever, it's going to die because you see every single day, you get used to it. So I'm hearing feedback. Can you guys hear me better or no?
No, but we can hear you.
I think I said we don't appreciate each other, and I know the audio is not that great, so hopefully I can do it over or whatever. I don't know, but so spending more time just saying please and thank you and focusing on the things that we really love about each other so that we maximize that. And lastly, I think it was just resetting the relationship, just going back and going like, my career is different. I'm different. I've got other things going on. Like we need to go back and say, what we need now, and that could be different than last year, and kind of assess where we were really great and what we need to change. So I think that would kind of put people on a good path to struggling less.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for sharing your experience and your life. And I don't know, is there anything you want to tell anybody before we go?
Stay cool. My book.
What's your book?
No, my book is called How to Stop Being a Fucking Bum, Broken Urban Mentality, and it's a disguise for spirituality. No.
Right.
No.
I didn't get through all of it, but I did get through a couple of chapters, and I was like, this is deep. It really is deep. And it when you look at the cover, you may feel like it's something different, but it really is a very spiritual book that it feels like
Oh, my sis. Yes. Did you like so far? Beautiful.
I like so far. I was reading it out loud. We were driving from New York to New York. We were driving from LA to Palm Springs, and I was reading it. Not only reading it, but discussing it. And I just think that you have a talent for what you're doing. And I think it's not everybody was, or introduced to the universal laws. I know I wasn't. It wasn't until I got older. So it's a great way to get folks who look like us to be open to a different kind of spirituality that doesn't look like religion and church. You know, it winds up being the same, but it's just a different practice. So
Absolutely. You, Lisa, did you get a check on it? Did you got
I'm
it?
telling you, I'm waiting for the audiobook. I'm gonna finish this today. So far, so I just kept hearing her voice. I was just like, oh my God, can you just read this to a group of students? And I told her yesterday, I was like, when she gets the audiobook done, and by then I'll have a car. Anytime I'm in a car with someone who really should hear this, I'm just gonna put it up and I'm just gonna blast it and I'm just gonna drive and let them understand how to stop being a fucking bum.
And here's the thing, Janessa is, and then I got to wrap up because I got to call at 10. But the reason why I do believe you need the audio version is because you also have this personality and this light, and you have a very specific way that you talk, and that you can't get that from the book, you know. And so that I just think that the audio of it is really gonna take it to another level. So I don't know what you do.
Thank you both so much. It means the world to me for your feedback. Both of you. You guys are super inspirational to me. You're both powerful, beautiful, smart. I aspire to be much like both of you and in your own ways. And I dig you guys, and it means the world. Sherrel, you've been a huge door for me. Like you have no idea. Just connecting with you.
Thank you.
It has bursted open a whole door for me in my life, and even meeting Lisa, who I'm gonna probably wind up linking up with in Miami this weekend. So I'm so excited, and thank you guys so much because it really means the world to me. It really means the world to me.
Thank you, ladies, because I feel like the universe brought us all together so that we could do this and we could help more people, and that we could, put our voices out so that more people could be helped. So I appreciate you. Bye, ladies.
Bye. I love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
I'll see you guys later.
My joyful friends, we have come to the end of this episode, Why We Struggle in Relationships. This is episode 2, part 3. Don't forget to check out part 1 and 2. We appreciate you listening and would love your feedback. So drop a comment below and don't forget to hit subscribe.